Welcome to the Tale Slate. Today we are shooting from Everything Pop Culture, and I'm here with John Mokedanz from Everything Pop Culture and Michael Oakes. And today we are talking about Deadpool. Deadpool is just coming out on home video, and we've all recently seen it. Well, I'd seen it when it came out in theaters. John, you were the latecomer. You just saw it recently. Mm-hmm. So what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was spectacular. Yeah. I thought it was really well crafted, and it takes a story everybody's familiar with. It's like the hero saves the girl at the end, but that's the only thing. That everything else is cutting edge, and it's hilarious because it pokes fun at Ryan Reynolds' entire career. It pokes fun at Green Lantern. It pokes fun at the vampire movies that he was in, and it also has a lot of innuendo. It's not for kids.
Definitely not for kids. Somehow my 12-year-old nephew saw it, and I'm thinking, what? I shouldn't have been seeing that.
But it just does so much that you haven't seen before, and it's a lot of fun. And it's adult, but we talked about this a little bit before, and saying that you're going to see a lot more R-rated films because of this, because it is a benchmark, and it's going to be, people are going to try and get that kind of energy again, and that kind of humor, and it's going to be very difficult because they took so much time in crafting this, not only from a technical aspect, but just the humor. Everything ties together, and it's really great. And if you grew up in the 80s, you're going to get all the in-jokes, like the Ferris Bueller nods, and it's really, really well done.
Yeah. So, Michael, you're a bit younger than us, so did you get all the in-jokes, the jokes from the 80s
probably
and so on?
half of them or so. Again, no, I'm the type of guy that's got to look it all up afterwards and figure it all out. I did get the Ferris Bueller one, though. I definitely did like the movie, though. It was great, and I definitely think it broke a few molds as far as movies go. So I'm excited to see what other people are willing to do now that this movie's out. You know, breaking the fourth wall, which is something that, again, not a lot of. When was the last time you saw that, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah, pretty much.
And a few other things, you know. The entire movie is a craft of love, to be honest, because even from its very first inception, I don't know if you guys knew about like how it came about to be. Yeah. How Ryan Reynolds basically they accidentally leaked the trailer to a movie that they hadn't.
Leaked out there. They had shot basically that highway the attack at the very beginning. They had done
it was a concept.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even pitched at all or anything like that. But that reaction that they got from that leak
convinced Fox.
Exactly. And Ryan Reynolds has been trying to do this for a very long time. Like the people who make the comics have actually directly said in to press and such when they were talking that Deadpool is literally a combination of Ryan Reynolds meets I can't remember what the other one was, but he was supposed to be the guy from the very beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Even without them making the movie, he was Deadpool's part Ryan Reynolds and part something else.
Yeah.
So definitely the perfect actor. I loved the way they did it, and I loved how little they cared about the reaction. That those queasy moments and stuff. I loved it.
Yeah. I saw it in the theater. I loved it then, and then seeing it again is actually better on multiple viewings. You start picking up more of what's in there, and it holds up. I was worried that I really liked it in the theater. I wonder if it'll be as good when I watch it later, but no, it was amazing. I think the film benefited from a couple of things. One was it had a relatively small budget for a superhero movie. I think the budget was about $48 million. I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's small compared to, let's say, something like Civil War, which is probably closer to 500 million or something like that. It also probably benefited from the fact that it took a long time to get the movie made. The screenwriters had said that they had basically been writing a draft a year of the movie since they first started working on it. So it's had a long time for them to get everything right.
Yeah, it's very well distilled. I mean, you can't, usually I'll watch a film and you'll fault something. You go, well, they didn't think of this. But they've thought of everything, and it was so well written and cut and shot. It was just a brilliant piece of work.
Yeah, I honestly can't find anything that I would really critique it on.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, the budget was pretty low for a movie like that. I think that lended to the jokes more, because again, he made a lot of references to like budgets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think if that was a really well budgeted movie, they wouldn't be able to even touch on any of that stuff.
Maybe
you know?
not, yeah.
If it had the budget that Civil War has, or any of those ones, it would I think it would actually fall a little flatter on its face.
Well, yeah, you'd have executives saying, "Oh, you've got to be careful. You got to do this to please the fans. You got to do this." That's what happens with these big movies.
Yeah.
Like Batman versus Superman. So much probable executive meddling. It wasn't a great movie.
Well, in the campaign surrounding it being released, like the social media campaign,
brilliant.
That's really cheap to do these days. Whereas a blockbuster like Civil War or Jurassic Park, they're spending double, triple what
easily,
they
yeah.
what they actually put into the film. And a lot of people don't realize that, but it's a huge machine that rolls out when that expectation is.
Yeah.
So it kind of blew away a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Though, to be fair, the type of movie that Civil War is and other things like that, they have to go budget breaking, essentially.
Well, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, you don't want every movie to be Deadpool. If every movie was that, it wouldn't be special.
Well, yeah, exactly. But Deadpool is special because it's not necessarily about the action. It's about the action, but it's more like it's the combination of action and comedy together, right?
Think about the action in Deadpool. It was entertaining throughout because of the character.
Exactly.
Think about the action in some of the bigger movies. It could be spectacular, but often you'll sit there, especially in a big action movie, and you start getting bored of the action. You're like, okay, come on, we know you're going to win. Just get to the end, right? So it was great.
They spent the budget to be able to stand stand on its own.
But the good thing about it was the storytelling, because he's telling the story to the audience, and he can go back and forth in time. He can pick up the action, because the action scene on top of the bridge lasted a long time.
Yeah.
But he was able to leap back and forth and tell his story, which made it even funnier.
You know what? If you listen to some of the commentaries they have with it too, they talked about that, how they wanted it within the budget they had. They wanted to have a big action sequence at the beginning. You're going to have the big action one at the end, but they needed something in the middle. So by telling it out of order, it was entirely budgetary. They could use that action sequence, start at the beginning, go tell some story, come back to that action sequence in the middle, and then continue the story.
And
so
it was
brilliant.
Yeah, and like you said, you want to find out what's happening. You also want to find out how he got there.
Yeah.
So it was really well crafted. I thought they did an amazing job of storytelling. And him talking to the audience, I don't know. There was a couple of moments where I thought, okay, Ryan Reynolds is like, he's channeling Jim Carrey and Alan Alda at the same time. It was just, there was so much wit and craziness. It was good.
Yeah, no. Anything else? I mean, it's hard to say anything bad about this movie.
Yeah, well, actually, if you do want to touch on it, we could talk about Colossus a little bit. I know the movie wasn't about Colossus.
Okay, yeah.
But I looked into the production of Colossus. That was an interesting thing. They actually had to get 3 different people that were all extremely tall to act as that character.
Well, I think they had one guy on set. They had one guy whose face they scanned.
Yeah.
And then another guy doing the voice.
Yeah. It's 3 people, 3 very big people to do the same person. It was crazy. And then even the guy that they had, he had to be like on stilts or like.
He was
high
a tall
heels.
guy, but he had a big stick with a ball on top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I was pretty impressed with how well that turned out, because like Colossus is a hard guy to peg. You either go like the X-Men style where he's kind of like a lean teenager kind of thing where he's pretty muscular and he just turns metal, or you go the full blown like Deadpool, and I think they really pulled that off really well.
Yeah.
Although hearing that must have been like a lot of their budget right there trying to make that by itself.
Yeah. Well, it helped that the director he comes from a visual effects background too, so
Right.
he knew how to do it in the most efficient way as well. Some of the other characters are great. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, awesome. I mean, they literally picked that because they thought it sounded cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna put a fill-in character there that you don't really have to pay, monetary values for.
I
getting
love
in there.
I love that too. How it's like there's only 2 of you here. It's like the studio couldn't afford any other X-Men, or just the in jokes were amazing. The Stewart or McAvoy, which
Yeah,
Dr. X,
exactly.
and your house keeps blowing up every few years.
Adds character. I definitely like them.
Oh, amazing movie. So, I mean, if you haven't seen Deadpool, you've got to go out, get it, watch it, and not with kids, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Or elderly people. Don't show it to elderly people.
Well, they might like it. There's elderly people in it. There's blind elderly people.
Yeah, there's blind elderly people. No, it was funny.
It was great. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. We'll have more later.